probably every painter has a long conversation with their work. And the longer that you live, of course, you know, the conversation goes on stretching far back. So it's a reconnoiter for me. I see my work differently as time goes by. I've realised, to my unbelievable delight, that it communicates, that my own dialogue with my work is reflected in how other people actually look at it. And of course, this to me is the most wonderful thing when I find that happening.
The exhibition covers almost 7 decades of production.
Yes.
And there's a large group of drawings and paintings which were made when you were a student.
Yes.
Cheltenham Ladies College, at Goldsmiths, at the Royal
Yes.
College of Art. And I think many people will be surprised by the range of experimentation and the concentration on drawing in these works.
Yes, yes.
Could you say something about maybe the importance of drawing and technique for you as the basis for your work?
Yes. Before I started to draw, though, I've started to look. I actually didn't think about being an artist at all. Well, I didn't think about art either. I thought to find a context in which somehow I could exercise something in me, which I didn't know what it was, but it was about looking. Where to do that, it just seemed that the only place I could go was to an art school.
You talked a little bit about the difference between a traditional approach, which might start with a subject in nature and then move gradually away from that.
Yes.
And you talked a little bit about how, in a sense, your approach now is the reverse, and that your starting point might be formal qualities, volume, shape, composition, rhythm.
Yes.
And I think you say you put those through their paces.
Pictorial elements are the agents through which you can put these things through their paces. You need something to do something with.
Yes.
You can't explore without an agent. My line, I think, actually is my agent, or was for a very, very long time. It can be a drawn line, as it was with drawn lines. I worked on making movement in squares, and drawn lines through some of those big paintings, many of the big paintings. The curve is a curved line. It's a line which has been bent in what I think is rather like the twists of a body. It takes different angles, different positions.
Contrapposto.
Contrapposto, exactly. But you need, the pictorial elements are rightly called that. They're things that you need to build a picture with.
And you know an incredible amount about the history of art, but which artists started to attract your attention in the early years?
In the early years, well, Matisse always did, especially with drawing, that he could draw a line and for no clear reason, it enclosed a volume. And there was no logic in this, you know, because it was not, the line did not seem to explain a skull, but it was something else. And so that was actually, I think now, of course, it was a perception.
And Matisse made it all look so easy, the rascal.
Made it look so easy, yes, absolutely. But he never deceived me.
And then one of the earliest rooms in the exhibition is called Looking at Seurat. The great 19th century post-impressionist painter who many people will know as the inventor of the pointillist technique of painting in dots.
Yes, yes.
But this is an artist who has meant a great deal to you
at
different moments in your career.
Yes, he has.
Could you tell us something about what Seurat has meant to you?
I was struggling with this unwieldy thing called colour. And I was applying it in little dabs. And these little dabs were not organised in any way. They had no internal logic, they had no raison d'etre. And the National Gallery had, for years, Seurat's great painting, The Bathers, which you could see as you came up the stairs on the right-hand side through the window. And the light and the beauty of the colour was something that I couldn't pass by. I started to copy a small landscape which had a similar diagonal across the canvas which separated the river bank from the river from the water. I worked methodically, as I thought she had, reworking this mélange, and that was exactly what it was called. It's a mélange, a mixture, an optical mixture. And his findings were of such enormous help to me, who was in exactly the same position down the line.
Would it be fair to say that Seurat gave you a sense of structure and a sense of parallel to nature?
Yes.
Where you could see there was obviously a relationship to the experienced world, but you were creating something, sensations alongside it.
A parallel universe. I think I was. It was that. It was the key into another world.
Yes. You mentioned earlier that Seurat had a hard time, in a sense, for seeming almost to be too scientific.
Yes.
And at moments in your career, people have felt it unfairly that your work is perhaps disciplined, cool, very rigorous. Yet at the same time, of course, there's a strong element of intuition and really deeply felt emotion in what you do.
Yes.
I wondered if you felt some kinship in Seurat, who was, in a sense, derided for unfairly without people realising the tension that there is between these two.
Certainly, at one point in my life, in rage, strong feeling, think that I would give this business up, this hateful business of painting, and I was bitterly disappointed in myself, and I painted in fury a black canvas. With what amounted to a sort of very expressionist handling of black paint. I came down the next morning and looked at it, and I realised that it was quite inexpressive of what I'd felt. It was just a lot of black paint. It said nothing. It conveyed nothing. And I thought, now what is wrong with it? Why has it failed? It hasn't had an opposition. Nothing has opposed it. It was let to run like a flood of feeling, and it meant nothing. But if it had been opposed, this would, so it was black, so it needed white. And just at the opposite of these marks was a straight line. So I drew a straight line. The opposite of the straight line was a curved line. And that brought the thing together.
Huge emotion,
Yes.
huge passion,
Yes.
but now very much channeled and controlled and to become all the more powerful.
The need for objective distance, holding something at a distance so that you can see it better, so that you can in fact become closer, is a discipline that I've welcomed, need, and a tool. And also some failures which I've had, I realised many years later that I suddenly could find a way of dealing with it. And that was true for measure with measure. And that problem of the integral nature of a circle, the fact you can't really break it. Measure for measure paintings, the viewer, you, me, when I'm working, I explore possible glances that you may have. You may pick up this diagonal, that diagonal, another one. As you see one, another one comes up to replace it. So like your own looking, it moves. It doesn't move, it's absolutely still. But you, by looking, you move it.
Putting yourself now into the position of viewer, as you look at the exhibition, were there any surprises for you?
All of them appear slightly different because, I haven't seen them for quite a long time, many of them for many, many, many years, and I am a different person.
Yes.
Now, and different experiences of looking, different current preoccupations, and they are the same, but then because of the fact that I am looking at them, they are different also. So this, which is the amazing thing of perception itself in action.